Okay, it appears that the decentralized hacktivist group known as Anonymous is coming out against Team MAGA. In case you're not familiar with who Anonymous is, they are basically, their philosophy is to protect freedom of speech. They're anti-censorship. They say they're anti-corruption and they're anti-oppression. One of their notable actions is Operation Payback back in 2010, where they targeted companies like PayPal, MasterCard, and Visa for cutting services to WikiLeaks. And one of the methods they use to engage in their ethical hacktivism is DDoS attacks, which of course is a distributed denial of service. We're going to watch what Anonymous says here, and then we're going to listen to the interesting reaction by Kyle Kulinski from Secular Talk.
Greetings, citizens of the United States. The effects of Donald Trump's presidency are no longer distant warnings. They are here, unfolding before you. While many remain unaware, blinded by the administration's relentless efforts to suppress the truth, the rest of the world is watching, and it is responding. Long-standing alliances with key nations such as Canada and Mexico are fracturing inch by inch. The cracks are widening, and the global community is reassessing its trust in the United States. The question is no longer if, but when these relationships will collapse entirely. The consequences will be severe. Every imported product you rely on, everyday essentials, food, technology, will see skyrocketing prices, making even basic necessities unattainable for the average American. What you perceive as a simple rise in costs is, in reality, a calculated strategy. The plan? To systematically dismantle the lower class, to push those already struggling into the abyss of poverty where they will face an impossible choice. Perish or submit to servitude under the wealthy elite. Make no mistake, this is economic warfare, and the target is you.
Now, what's interesting is this economic warfare has been going on for a long time, and the genesis of the economic warfare, of course, comes from the Federal Reserve. And then we've got added onto that the ridiculous nature of the IRS, the criminal nature of the IRS, and the income tax, not to mention the other things, the regulations that they launch against us. So my curiosity stems from Anonymous's lack of exposure of the root cause of the problem of all this. And now they're going after Team MAGA. I don't remember them going after Team Biden, though. They could have. I just haven't been keeping up with it.
The recent ICE raids are not just about immigration enforcement. They are about control. The Trump administration seeks to reignite the flames of racial inequality and segregation-era policies, erasing diversity to craft a nation built on division and fear. These operations are disrupting local economies.
That's interesting right there. Erasing diversity to craft a nation built on division and fear. That doesn't even sound like something that the Anonymous of the past would have said. This almost sounds like somebody pretending to be anonymous with a Democrat progressive propagandist slant. This is very interesting to me.
Diversity to craft a nation built on division and fear. These operations are disrupting local economies, forcing businesses to crumble, and ensuring the economic elimination of the working class. What follows is a society engineered to serve the interests of the few at the cost of the many. And as the oligarchy takes shape, another darker ideology is creeping into the mainstream.
As the oligarchy takes shape, the oligarchy took shape a long time ago. You've got a private international banking cartel that controls the issuance and value of every single dollar in circulation, which is the reserve currency and has been the reserve currency since 1944. And then backed up by the deal that Nixon and Kissinger had with King Faisal when they formed the petrodollar arrangement. So it's interesting to me that this hacktivist group doesn't go into that kind of detail and then perform DDoS attacks on that system so that everyone could be free. Why are they picking and choosing what they're going to go after?
Fascist ideals, once whispered in the shadows, are now being openly embraced. Symbolism matters. Gestures matter.
Now being openly embraced, almost all of Congress is controlled by AIPAC, and it's been like that for a long, long time.
Elon Musk, a figure of immense influence, recently tested the waters with a gesture recognized worldwide as a Nazi salute. This was not an accident. It was a message, a challenge, a warning.
This sounds so Democrat to me.
But know this, the people are not silent. Despite the administration's best efforts to muzzle dissent, the voices of resistance grow louder. Trump's reckless overhauls, his purges of experienced government officials, his chaotic restructuring of critical infrastructure.
His purges of experienced government officials? Who does this sound like?
have created vulnerabilities, weaknesses, entry points. This transition period is his greatest liability, but it is also our greatest opportunity. The rushed implementation of new systems, the mass firings of key personnel, and the chaotic dismantling of existing structures have left behind critical gaps. Gaps that Anonymous can and will exploit. Every system that has been hastily restructured without foresight, every official removed without proper transition planning, leaves behind exposed veins within the government's framework.
So because we weren't careful, because the Trump administration and Doge wasn't careful to implement strict strategies to keep these holes from opening, Anonymous says we're going to go out there, we're going to go in there and we're going to exploit these. Why didn't you exploit them before when they were pilfering the American people and giving boatloads of money to people that weren't Americans? Anonymous, can you answer that? But, you know, Kyle's not going to raise any objection to any of this here.
These vulnerabilities are more than just bureaucratic inefficiencies. They are cracks in the foundation that can and will be breached. Anonymous watches. Anonymous waits.
Cracks in the foundation of a very, very corrupt government.
The time to act is fast approaching. The administration's arrogance blinds them to the fragility of their own system. Their overconfidence in their ability to silence dissent and erase opposition.
Name one administration that this doesn't apply to. The administration's arrogance blinds them to the fragility of their own system.
Their overconfidence in their ability to silence dissent and erase opposition will be their undoing. We know where to look. We know how to strike. But understand this. Our intervention, no matter how disruptive, will only be a temporary roadblock unless you, the people, rise. This is your warning. This is your chance. The transition period is fleeting. And once they solidify their grip, your options will vanish. If you fail to act now, the cost of resistance will be far greater in the future.
Rise and do what? What should the actions be? Unless you fail to act now, what should the actions be, Anonymous? What are you suggesting? How do the people rise up? When they rise up, what do they say? Where do they go? What actions do they perform?
To those in power, think carefully. Your decisions now will determine your future. We are Anonymous. We are Legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us.
They always say that. So here's Kyle Kulinski's reaction to this brand of Anonymous, which I'm not even convinced is the original hacktivist group.
Damn, bro. Damn. So look, I have no idea.
That's how easy it was. That's how easy it was.
But if I were to guess what they have planned, in the same way that Elon and his little pilled up 19-year-old lackeys are basically waging virtual warfare against us by illegally hacking the Treasury and deleting whatever programs they want.
But the Treasury has waged an illegal war against the American people. The Federal Reserve long ago waged a war against the American people. Think about it. They control the product of your time and labor, which is the American dollar. They control your time and labor through this. Can you get more corrupt than that? Can you get more cancerous in a society than this? Shouldn't this be our priority to go after this? Why doesn't Bernie Sanders, he's a Bernie bro. Why doesn't Bernie Sanders attempt to go after this? Because Bernie Sanders is on the dole. He's a congressional gatekeeper for the Zio International Banking Cartel.
I think they're going to counter that, and they're going to wage virtual warfare against Elon. They're going to wage virtual warfare against these pilled up sycophants of Elon, the 20-somethings who are coders. And basically, they're not going to take it sitting down, right? They're going to try to counter the attempt to dismantle the American government by illegally hacking the Treasury, illegally hacking all of our government agencies, trying to shut down USAID, trying to shut down the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau and the NLRB. Look, Anonymous is they're a worthy foe, man.
This is so WWE. You got the protagonist. You got the antagonist. You got the good guys operating in the shadows in the background. And if Team MAGA doesn't make the right decisions and cross their T's and dot their I's, they're going to jump in with DDoS attacks. They got things up their sleeves. They're a worthy foe.
And I don't know if Elon and his team knows what they're bargaining for. I mean, just the idea, you had these literal kids, 19-year-old, 21-year-old, 23-year-old, like, hacking into our systems. We reported the other day, one of them got into the Department of Energy, which has our nuclear information.
You have literal kids hacking into government systems. You have literal corrupt banking interests inflating the money supply. That's where the prices go up, when you dilute the money supply with all this funny money. But Kyle Kulinski's not going to talk about this. Why? Because, again, this is their gravy train. They're not going to hop off the gravy train. They're not going to tell you what's really going on. Because if the people really knew what was going on and weren't divided by the Dave Pacmans and the Dave Rubins and the Candace Owens and the Kyle Kulinskis and the Brian Tyler Cohens of this world, maybe we could actually get something done and we could actually unite and take care of the real problem and root out the real cancer in this country.
What? And the one who did that, by the way, there was reporting on this as well. This guy had been fired from a previous company he worked for because he shared the company's secrets with another company. And now you have zero security clearance. These people should have no right to access classified and top secret information. And they're hacking into these government computers where we have classified and top secret information.
You're worried about sharing classified information with foreign entities when you're talking about a U.S. government that conducted an orchestrated Operation Paperclip. Are you serious?
Like, what are we talking about here? What are we talking? Wildly illegal, wildly unconstitutional. The courts have now said that. We don't know if Elon is actually going to abide by it. Maybe they did via U.S. aid. We're not 100% sure, but are they going to do in other respects with other agencies? We don't know. This is an attempted coup is what we're witnessing. From the second he walked into the Treasury and illegally got access to the payment system, it was already a coup.
And the IRS and the income tax and the Federal Reserve, that's not a coup against the American people?
Stealing all the private information. Coup. This is a coup. You're usurping Congress, usurping the president.
Oh, no, we don't want to usurp Congress, who's controlled by AIPAC. We wouldn't want to do that. He's against AIPAC. He understands how strong the Israeli lobby is against the American people, but he's concerned with preserving the integrity of Congress or the presidential seat at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. This is how deep it's gotten. This is how ridiculous and really pathetic the propaganda campaign has become. I'm not going to play any more of this. I just wanted to show you what Anonymous was saying, or the people who claim that they're anonymous. And I wanted to get your take on it. None of us is greater than all of us. Leave your comment in the comment section below. I want to hear what you have to say about this. What do you think about what Anonymous said? Do you think this is really anonymous? Doesn't this sound more politically motivated than some hacktivist group who's interested in fighting oppression, corruption, and censorship? Leave your thoughts about this in the comments below, and I will see you. Don't forget to share this video. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon, give this video a like, and I will see you in the next video.